Warning, the player selections you're about to see may flop miserably. FPL TV cannot be held responsible for any of your own transfer shockers. Please, FPL responsibly.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League Point Predictor, the series where I select 5 players that I believe will score 4 points or more in the upcoming FPL Gameweek. Within these selections, I must include one defensive option, alongside 2 midfielders and 2 forwards, with one of each of those having to be valued below the price of 8 million. Also, I'm limited to choosing just one player per team. As always, if you are enjoying the series, please consider supporting FPL TV by dropping a like on the video and subscribing to stay tuned for more FPL content.
Before we start making selections for Game Week 35, a quick apology for the short break in content recently, but now I've returned from holiday and I'm finally back to talk all things FPL with you for the remainder of the season. So without further ado, let's move swiftly on to blank Game Week 35's Point Predictor, where no less than 8 teams miss out this game week, and only 12 teams have fixtures. Starting with the budget midfielder, I've selected Wilfried Zaha. In the jumbo-sized double Game Week 34, he racked up a whopping 14 points, despite being a player with only one fixture that game week. That made it his 4th point return in 5 game weeks, so even though that probably means he's due to blank now, I'm still backing the Crystal Palace winger to maintain his red-hot form. It's that time of the season where it's now or never for teams toward the bottom end of the table, so Crystal Palace should be fired up for this game against a Watford side who have lost 4 and drawn 1 in their last 5 fixtures. With his opponents Watford being virtually safe from relegation, perhaps some of their players have checked out early now and don't have much to play for. This hopefully means that Zaha could be ready to pounce in Game Week 35, and he's a player I'm strongly considering for my personal team too. For the budget forward, under the price of 8 million, Newcastle's Ayoze Perez was a very strong consideration, but my gut says he's too obvious of a pick, and his opponents Everton are a much better outfit at home. In the end, I've taken a good old-fashioned punt on West Brom Solomon Rondon. I know it seems a bit crazy selecting a forward from bottom of the league West Brom, but don't worry, I didn't fall on my head during my holiday, and believe it or not, there is some method behind the madness. Over the last 4 game weeks, Solomon Rondon's stats are extremely impressive for strikers under 8 million. In this category, he's had the most touches in the penalty area with 25, 9 more than Perez. And during that time, he's also created 6 chances and had 11 goal attempts. Both of these stats are also the best of any striker at this price range. With these outstanding stats in mind, he now faces Liverpool, granted a very difficult fixture, but it's a team with an important Champions League semi-final just 3 days later, so Klopp and the players will surely have one eye on that massive game. West Brom, on the other hand, have a lot of pride to play for, and they also come off the back of a very hard-fought win away to Manchester United last week, and his strike partner Jay Rodriguez, also in form, could help Rondon fire this game week. For the any priced forward, it's going to have to be Arsenal's Aubameyang this game week. I'm not quite sure how to feel about this choice. I mean, there's no doubt he's a top striker, he's certainly a player in form, and of course being ineligible for the Europa League game means he'll play a big part in this fixture against West Ham. My big concern though is that with Arsene Wenger clearly prioritising the Europa League game, what kind of starting 11 is he going to put out to support Aubameyang in Game Week 35? It's more than likely that the Gabonese striker will be feeding off scraps from Arsenal's fringe players, which could hinder his chances of scoring. It's safe to say that I'm concerned, but without much else on offer, and with 5 consecutive point returns, Aubameyang gets my vote this week against a West Ham side who have conceded 12 goals in their last 4 away games. Now, perhaps the most attractive looking fixture for Game Week 35 is Manchester City's home game against Swansea City. Having already won the title, it'll no doubt be a party atmosphere, and with no other competition to focus on, Guardiola and his men will surely want to go out in style and break some records. The question for me this week was, do I go for a Man City defender in hope of a clean sheet, or do I opt for a premium City midfielder? In the end, I've gone down the attacking route and selected Raheem Sterling. This was a tough choice because it means not choosing Mohamed Salah this game week, which could easily backfire. But with a Champions League game for Liverpool just 3 days on, I do have a slight suspicion that the Egyptian winger could be rested, or at least starved of minutes. Raheem Sterling looked back to his best in Game Week 34 against Spurs, and despite missing a few chances, he found himself in front of goal many times. He'll no doubt be looking to continue his fine season against the Swansea side at the wrong end of the table, and I think he looks a good shout for this game week. And finally, that leaves me with my defensive option this week. And with it being a blank game week, and therefore without many choices that I'm particularly happy with, I've had to settle for Leighton Baines. His opponents Newcastle have been in exceptional form recently, but with their place now secure in the Premier League for another season, I'm hoping this will be a quieter game with neither team having much to play for. This could mean it hopefully leads to a stalemate, and Everton have been fairly decent defensively at home. But if all else fails, at least Leighton Baines has a good chance of some attacking points, being on free kicks and hopefully penalties too. So that completes my point predictor picks for Game Week 35. A nice range of choices, which I can't say I'm overly hopeful about, but let's see if they can deliver. As you all know, things can always get very unpredictable toward the end of the season. Thanks to all of you for sticking with the channel during my holiday, and I wish you all the best for Game Week 35. May your arrows be green, and I'll catch you all next week.